Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
All
This is
right.
Dr. Dave and Austin.
I'm Austin.
And today's vlog is entitled "The God and His New Sneakers." That sounds like a kid's book. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I have no idea what this one's about. It's gonna be my first go through too, so bear with
this will
me.
be good.
Yeah, this should be really crisp. All right, so this first bit's from Dr. Dave.
So, hello. Thank you once again for reading along with these crazy blogs. I'm sure I'm sure a few have stopped reading and listening because of all the new age stuff I talk about. But it's more than new age. But it must be talked about because the alternative is even crazier than my blogs when you start hearing about all the stuff people are trying to do. It seems like every day I hear of some new health hack that is going to make a person smarter, stronger, sharper, whatever a person can think of. And people will always wonder, does that really work?
Mm-hmm.
Or will it be good for me?
Sure.
Of course it will. Just ask the salesman, right?
Right.
It's the greatest thing. The real question is, will this help me? Will this help my family, my friends, and mankind survive better? That's the big question. That's the most important thing. And why is this so important? Because in my opinion, survival and helping others do better, mankind and everything, this is the route back, as it were, to that which is you and me, these spiritual beings.
Right. And because like always the question is, well, I want to, and it kind of gets to be a little bit egotistical, is like, oh, well, I want to shrink my waist, or I want to clear up my skin, or have bigger muscles, more hypertrophy, or something like that. And the ripple effect of that is not very broad, right? You know, like the ambition would be to get out to family and friends, and beyond that, even to improve the sphere of impact out to mankind, you know, and just having like a snatched waist or fillers or something like that is not really going to improve that sphere of improvement.
And it actually doesn't, because my basic philosophy, or what I have found for myself that works, is if I take the time to make sure somebody else gets theirs, somehow I get mine. So if I take the time to help somebody do better in life, my waist shrinks, my hair grows back, my squinty little eyes become like Barbie dolls again, or something along those lines.
You can see we've got some work to do.
Yeah,
with,
so
with
you can tell I haven't been doing my part to help mankind. It's like, oh my God, you might click this off right now. It's like, oh, that guy, look at him, he's a mess. Doesn't help anybody. But that's what I found. So when you take the time to make sure others are getting theirs, somehow you will get yours. You'll get what you need, and you will do better.
Right. So a lot of these other efforts are kind of just traps, right? Like from their sales pitches in effect. So for the moment a person believes that he can't without Ozempic, face fillers, a Brazilian butt lift, etc., fill in the blank there, you're trapped. You're trapped. So
yeah, I can't get through my workday without 3 latte grande venti,
right.
Skim fat milky things.
Yeah, he's a big coffee guy. You
Huge
can tell.
coffee guy.
You know, he knows all the ins and
Yeah,
outs.
I order it on my cell phone.
So much for the freedom many believe they attain with drugs and other wonder gimmicks. Freedom is always understanding of self, and this simply is not possible when one is under the influence of anything other than their self.
Right.
The individual himself, we're talking about that thing that is really you, your soul, your spirit, the life energy, that thing that truly knows without ever needing to question,
Yeah,
is this right or is this wrong?
yeah,
That's
it doesn't.
your knowing.
It just knows. So it doesn't necessarily question what's right or wrong. It does what is right. It does the greatest good for the greatest number of others, and so on and so forth.
There's a lot of different terms for that, you know, soul, being, all of these types of things, your intuition. We preach that a lot here, you know, with intuitive eating. My wife's pregnant right now, and that's what the doctor was talking about too. Just like whatever you're asking for, whatever the baby's asking for, you know, we don't know all the reasons for that, but there's this knowingness there and this internal intuition, you know, that you've got. And, you know, so it's like have the saltines or the chili or the protein shake or whatever it is in that moment, you actually know. So, and you don't want to question that. That's hardwired. That's tech that you don't want to be screwing with. That thing beyond the body and the mind, that thing that is eternal, immortal, and if everything were to disappear, and I mean everything, it would be the thing still standing there, aware not only that everything was gone, but of its own beingness. So it's this other that is around, it's present. I think a lot of people have a sense of that, and they try and maybe sequester that or deny that there's something else here beyond flesh and blood and tables and cell phones and stuff like that. So it's something else around. So
it's amazing when you think about it. It's the thing that if there was absolutely nothing, it would be the thing that knows there's nothing. You see what I mean? That gets a little weird and heavy. To me, that is who and what you are. And it's the thing that is aware that it is still here and that there is nothing. And the thing that's interesting is that if it's still here, is there truly nothing? I don't know.
Trippy.
Yeah. That's why I got my Zen shirt on. Namaste, baby.
That is the ambition of life, to get rid of all the crap each of us is buried under and stand once again free as the individual yourself, right? So wrap your head around that idea, all right? Let's say each of us is truly a God and the ultimate creator of the universes we find ourselves in. For the purposes of demonstration, look around you, and what do you see? So we're here in this office, there's a cuckoo clock and a foot scanner and this big mutt beneath the table here. You can't see, unfortunately. She's looking cute today. All there is to know, all there is to see, and all there is. Right?
This is it.
That's what's around, So conceptually, look into what you might consider to be beyond you, and what do you see? Beyond your sphere of understanding and what you can take in. What's out there beyond that? Nothing. There's nothing.
See, and that's what's wild. You look at this room and out the window, this is what is. This is what we know and stuff. I'm assuming that Paris is still there, but I don't see it. You see what I'm saying? So when I'm considering beyond this room, there's really nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that? It's just kind of wild. So this is what you know. And you would find, oh, well, yeah, that would decrease a lot of stress and worry and anxiety.
Oftentimes, we hear a lot of people in attempting to do this with meditation and other physical practices, and people constantly talk about presence and being there comfortably. That's in essence exactly what we're talking about doing, but a lot of people will tear off down the road, squeeze in this 30-minute yoga thing before they got to go do X, Y, and Z, and they think that they've attained this presence, but honestly, you can hear the traffic right there, a car accident. They're still preoccupied elsewhere, you know what I mean? So we're talking about being here as yourself. It's really, really challenging to do. If you think about the moments that you've had where you're just there, usually it'll be, for me, it's around the holidays when my crew's all here and everybody's there. You're kind of I'm completely here in this moment. I don't have preoccupations elsewhere. I'm not thinking about whether or not Paris is there or whether I could, and that's the presence that you're looking to attain. That's really you,
right.
You're there.
You were never here because you were always there.
Right, and you can never get here comfortably in present time.
And this is here.
Right, we're all, yeah. So there's no force or power or magical elixir, biohack, or anything else that's beyond the power and abilities of yourself, of your being yourself. Abso-freaking-lutely nothing, he says. Abso-freaking-lutely nothing.
There isn't. It's you. There's no other intelligence. I love when you hear these space shows about aliens and their superiority and their brilliance and everything. I got news for you, man. As wacky as it sounds, we're essentially the aliens. And there is no intelligence that's out there that's more intelligent than us. Now, you can always act stupid. You can always be dumb. You can always bury yourself in crap and stuff like that. But the fact of the matter is, whether you like to believe it or not, there is nothing out there that is more intelligent and more aware or more powerful than you.
Yeah, even the AI that everyone's so preoccupied with right now is
somebody
all
had to make
programmed, and that data has been input by a person, So, and they can calibrate and be similar, but it's not really a being there. So consider this. What biohack, miracle drug, or other stupid idea would God, the guy with the white robe and the beard, what would God do to make himself more God? Nothing. He would simply make himself more if that is what he wanted to do or be. My God, when you were a little kid, didn't you run faster and jump higher when your mom bought you a new pair of sneakers?
Absolutely.
Didn't the M&M, the candy, energy pills we took to make us stronger and brave enough to climb that scary tree? All that changed was the individual's own perception of what was. New shoes and M&Ms really had very little to do with it. And now it seems the geniuses are making a science out of these types of subjective reports, calling these cutting-edge sciences, and telling others to chew nicotine gum, get TRT or testosterone therapy, take growth hormone shots, undergo ketamine therapy, microdose LSD, magic mushrooms, and people are doing these things, and none of these wonder treatments have really been thoroughly studied or even approved by the FDA, but just ask the salesman, right? They all work. It's the M&M theory. It's like, I came inside, you get jacked up on Halloween candy, and now you go and you play can jam with your buddies in the street, and that's why you won. You know what I mean? You attribute that to that other thing rather than that you bolstered yourself up and you took yourself there.
Very, very true. We know a person that went and had a ketamine session, and this person actually watched themselves die. So when we get back to, will this help me? Will this help my family? Will this help my friends and the groups I belong to and mankind? Absolutely not. None of it will. And when you think about it, if God, like we talked about, the guy with the robe and the beard and everything, wanted to be more God, what would he do? He would just decide to be more God. He wouldn't put this electronic thing here to make himself a delta human that now can bend time and people to his will with his brain power and everything else like that. We were laughing about that, or Anderson and I were. That's like if you ever saw Napoleon Dynamite, when Uncle Rico's trying to get back to the past, and he had this electronic thing that he put kind of in his
time traveling
his
thing.
And he comes out with this ice pack on his privates, and he says, "I could have told you that it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work. Just enough of the crap. Stop." Like I said, there's nothing out there bigger or better. As a matter of fact, you have all the abilities, all the other stuff that you have. What you have to do is you have to be willing to demonstrate that and unbury it. When a person learns something, they're not being made smarter, they're getting rid of the stupidity. And as a result, they emerge with the intelligence that they had.
There's a quote that I love, and it's like sometimes the best way to go faster is to take your foot off the brake, and that's like kind of primarily what we do at Paragon is we're trying to isolate those activities or those things that you're eating or those other stuff you're doing or not doing or something that's really holding you back. We're not going to like add a lot of additional stuff. It's like, well, how much more do I need to deadlift to outstrength my back pain? It's like, well, maybe we should strip back the deadlift, take that away for a moment, and see if you can actually do a hip hinge at all, which is the basic mechanism behind that. And oftentimes you can't. So you kind of like attribute, it's like, oh, well, this deadlift is going to be the thing that gives me the, erector muscles that get me the girl on the beach and all this other determined stuff. We're back to the fancy shoes and the M&Ms, you know what I mean? And all of this stuff. And, I'm going to be, this primal savage, badass because I'm, and it's like, all of that stuff is just other determined stuff. You know what I mean? It's stuff that's
Sales gunk.
It's sales gunk. So
yeah, because you get that you're going to do these incredible squats, and it's like, can you even get up and down out of a chair? I don't know if you realize this, but one of the criteria that would put a person in a nursing home is if they cannot sit on the toilet, do their business, clean up, and get up out of that toilet.
Yeah, and we see a lot of ugly squats getting out of chairs, which is not just in the waiting room, that's also on the bathroom too. So
yeah.
There's plenty of studies, and they're promising on all these things. The Zyn gum, or nicotine pouches, and this and that and the other thing. All of this type of stuff. there's promising studies out there. So obviously, Dr. Dave and I and us at Paragon, we're a bunch of Grinches, and we don't want people to get drugged up, so get bigger and better. And, he's just a silly old man who isn't, in there trying to win. He's not a badass.
Just win, baby, whatever it takes. Just win, baby. Give me more, give me more, give me more.
Yeah. You see all the alphas out there with their face doctored up and, like on all these meds and on TRT, at 60 years old, and they're vascular and they're truly alphas out there at Topgolf, exerting their dominance. It's embarrassing. Anyway, but he's unwilling to get on the edge and reach beyond. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're looking for that edge, go to the rim of the Grand Canyon and jump off and take all your crazy bullshit with you. This is a Dr. Davism. He's been stuck on this. I don't necessarily.
You want to get on the edge?
You can tell I read this for the first time right now because I think I would have axed that. Probably.
You want to get on the edge, stand on the edge of the Grand Canyon, take all your silly garbage and your stupid crap and jump in. Man.
Okay, so
the end result's the same. It really is.
Yeah.
And you know what? Do it with somebody else, and you can race them to the bottom. Right. And if you splatter before they do, you won.
Yeah. This competition is really crazy, and the internet. Yeah, and we'll have to be editing these in the future.
Beautiful. It's always great to go crazy.
But it actually will. You see these poor kids on TikTok, and there's some guy who's gacked out of his mind on gear, and he's taken all the SARMs and Tren and everything, and he's way more cut than you, and you're a 15-year-old kid in high school or whatever, and now you're taking all of this poison trying to, get some sort of internet clout that's going to do who knows for you, you know what I mean? Rather than just like trying to find some comfort in the present, you're chasing something else, and that unfortunate kid is probably gonna have his life cut short deeply. There's a lot of kids going through, they're dying of unknown causes, and they're on a lot of these drugs, chasing a physique that makes no sense to have at 15 years old. Right. I mean, there's truly just a few people out there that can get away with taking that stuff. Yeah, obviously he's like the
or look like it without taking the stuff.
Yeah.
This is a gift.
There's nothing that will make a God more than the decision of that God himself to be more. So end of story. The big problem with all this stuff, the drugs, the biohacking, and the rest of it is simply a lack of responsibility. You don't think that you can do it yourself, Thank you.
We knew that was going to happen.
We warned her too. This is obviously first take. We're like, don't come out. Okay, we're jibber jabbering too long. That's what that lets us know. So it's really a lack of responsibility. Well, I couldn't eat better without, so I need to take Ozempic. I couldn't, feel younger and more vital. I need to see it in the mirror. So I need to have, surgical things and fillers and this and that put in there. It's like, yeah, but you could feel good about yourself to the point where you're not chasing something in the mirror or thinking that other people are watching you and thinking ill of you. That's also strange. So, take responsibility for how you look and how you feel. You know what I mean? It's not going to be the M&Ms.
I saw somebody the other day that was kind of grateful that they finally became diabetic so that they could go on the medication, because now all the weight's coming off like crazy. And it's like, that's what we talked about. Oh, I can't unless. You're trapped, baby. You're trapped.
Yeah, that's really scary. So think of the technological advancements on a cell phone and all that it can do and does for us, and yet cell phones can't keep a person from texting and driving. Obviously, we aren't responsible enough to own cell phones, and possibly aren't responsible enough to drive cars.
Isn't that something? Of all the things a cell phone does, a cell phone can't keep you from walking out in front of a car.
Yeah, really anything can be weaponized,
Or driving all over the place and killing people.
Right.
But, it does so much. But it can't do the one thing that you can do.
Right. There's that Oppenheimer movie out right now about the nukes, and it's like, this thing should have ended war, right? Right. There's a responsibility level that has to match these inventions, you know what I mean? And so it's like everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt, and you have to up the responsibility level, not just come up with new inventions so you can go, whoa, this is the war ender, or I don't have to diet because I'm taking Ozempic or whatever. Yeah, it's not fair.
The more technology, the more the responsibility has to come up. But the way we're told is the more technology, the less responsibility we need, because the machine will do it.
Right.
And then Ooh,
I'm not one of
craziness.
these like Terminator wackos or whatever that thinks that the machines are going to take over. I don't believe that, but someone will take advantage of this society through AI, and it will be a total cluster, and we'll all go, oh, dang, we should have thought of that one, but the responsibility didn't come up as the technology advanced. So you can have a machine plan your whole vacation for you in Greece, on Chat GPT, but someone is going to be utilizing that to like do something that's not so great, and then we'll have to learn our lesson from that, because that person isn't really a good person. If everyone was rising at the same rate, like all the ships were coming up with the tide at the same rate that technology was moving, we'd be in a really amazing place, right? But there's still all this horrible stuff afoot, and like we're hell-bent on getting to Mars, and it's like, well, can't we just address human trafficking or starvation in our own backyard?
How about
It's like,
kids
no,
not
no,
going to bed hungry?
we can't do that. We need to get to Mars. I need to have a snatched waist and a bubble butt, and I need to, and it's like, no, man, there's legitimately things that need to take precedence over this stuff.
Think how great your life would be if you could look like Arnold Schwarzenegger living on Mars. There's an ambition.
Incredible. So we got to wrap this up here. We're going too long. So why do we keep hammering all of this out there stuff? Being a god, the hero's journey, all the rest of it. It's the only thing that makes sense, really. We've been told that man is an evil creature, soulless, and little more than an animal. That hasn't gotten us anywhere except even more irresponsible. So again, talking about raising the tide. We want to heighten that responsibility. Science doesn't have the answer for that. And in fact, most of what passes for science only buries us deeper and deeper into despair. So what if we were really good, gods as it were, and held within each of us our own salvation and the knowingness that frees us all? For many years, we were of the belief that there were many. I'm going to give that to you again. For many years, he was of the belief that there were many who were so much smarter than him, and they would figure everything out, and they would all be on the road to nirvana again.
That's what I was told.
Perfect quietude, freedom, higher happiness, and an end to the senseless suffering that eventually ends poorly for us all. And perhaps there are, but they aren't saying anything, are they?
Do you hear anybody that's making any sense? Well, apart from this.
So why not work on our own beingness and return, as it were, to the one place where one can truly know, understand, and create the type of world he wants to exist in? That place is probably not a place at all, but rather a state of mind. And that is you. As usual, we would love to talk to you about all this stuff. So let us know in the comments. These are getting exceedingly more wild and out there, which is fun stuff to think about, right? Always good to challenge your understanding of what's going on. I think perhaps some of this isn't real to you, but the other stuff isn't working. I think there's been a lot of information out there that's been highlighted, statistical things that are going on in this country. I don't want to go down the rabbit hole and all the negativity. That's not really fun, but a lot of stuff is not trending in the right direction. I'll start to become a believer when Ozempic makes a dent in these obesity rates in children. And I really hope that no child is ever on this stuff, but it just won't, is my point. It's not gonna, because personal responsibility at the end of the day is the end all be all. Comfortability with your loved ones in your space, in your mind, in your head, that's all you've got. That's what you should be reaching for. There's no green M&Ms or brand new pair of shoes that's gonna fix society. You kind of have to do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
work on your virtue, work on your humanity, and that's the only salvation we really have. And as you do that, you'll find your biceps get plenty big.
Cool. Yeah, thank you so much. Please write a comment, come in here and shake your fist at us because we're wackos.
Yeah.
Come get a water or an electrolyte or something. It's hot, and enjoy. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.